Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and this is NB12 for Thursday, November 15th, 2012, broadcasting from the Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. In news tonight, a man discovered shot to death in an undeveloped community in southern New Providence. A teen arraigned today charged with the killing of an elderly woman during the passing of Hurricane Sandy. 3 days after the Straw Market Authority locked 54 stalls in the downtown Straw Market, officials are now preparing to close others at Cable Beach. And a former Minister of Health is encouraging the task force on stem cell therapy to conduct wide consultation as the Bahamas moves forward on the issue. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. Your NB12 starts right now. Joining us. Police are trying to solve a mystery after an unknown man's body was found with gunshot wounds in an undeveloped community in southern New Providence. Paige McCartney has more.
Police are unaware of the circumstances surrounding this latest killing. All they know is that they found a dark male's body in these bushes in the Pinewood Gardens area. Officers of the Southeastern Division were tipped off to the crime scene at around 9 a.m. and were led to a dirt road in a developing community called Southern Dreams. Assistant Superintendent of Police in charge of homicide investigations, Solomon Cash, said the victim was pronounced dead by emergency medical services personnel. He said the body had been there for well over 12 hours.
They received information that a lifeless body was found at a dirt road which runs east of Pinecrest Drive, Pinewood Gardens. The officers, they came to the scene shortly thereafter, and they discovered the lifeless body of a dark male, which was lying in bushes with what appeared to be apparent gunshot wounds to the body.
Police are not sure of how the victim ended up in such a location and don't have many leads at this time, according to Cash.
The investigation thus far is in the initial phase. We are uncertain as to who did it and why it happened, but the team currently, they are presently conducting additional inquiries.
In addition to trying to solve this murder case, police are also trying to find out exactly who the victim is.
I would appeal to members of the public and, in addition, family members who may have had some loved one missing or that they haven't seen over a period to please contact the police, and we will assist and see how best we can unravel what happened here this morning.
This is the 98th murder so far this year. Anyone with information that could close this case is asked to contact 911, 919, or the Central Detective Unit at 502-9991 or 502-9910. Reporting for NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
Many Bahamians were shocked the night Hurricane Sandy passed through New Providence. On that night, an elderly woman was shot to death in her home. Today, police charged a teen with that crime. Celeste Nixon has more.
The man police believe is behind the tragic death of an elderly woman in her home last month was today arraigned on murder charges before Chief Magistrate Roger Gomez. 18-year-old Omar Miller Jr. was escorted into Gomez's court with his right arm in a sling. It is alleged that Miller, of Filson Street, Pinewood Gardens, killed Viola Mae Sands on the night of October 25th. He was also charged with possession of an unlicensed 9mm pistol and 8 rounds of live ammunition for that weapon. Miller's attorney, Tamar Taylor, told the court that when she saw her client yesterday afternoon, he was not wearing a sling. However, she said her client claimed he was beaten by 4 officers while in custody at the Central Detective Unit. Taylor said a plastic bag was placed over her client's head. He was placed in a body bag, choked and beaten about the body and his private parts. Taylor told the court that when she saw Miller yesterday, his shoulder appeared to be swollen, and much later that day she was informed that Miller would be taken to the hospital for treatment. She added that he was given some medication. Magistrate Gomez noted Taylor's objections. Miller was not required to enter a plea to the charges, and bail was denied. Sergeant Audrey DeVoe is the prosecutor. Miller has been remanded to Her Majesty's prison until February 26, 2013. He will return to court on that date for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. Reporting for NB12, I'm Celeste Nixon.
Police also investigating a stabbing at Calpen Road that took place this morning shortly after 9 o'clock. The incident happened in the front of the Island Luck web shop. According to police, a man was walking along the road when he was approached by an unknown assailant and stabbed multiple times. The victim was taken to hospital via ambulance. Police have not disclosed a motive for the incident. Well, in other news, former State Minister for Finance Zhivargo Lang is refuting claims that the Ingram administration drafted legislation to regulate computer wagering in the Bahamas. He was responding to Prime Minister Perry Christie, who hit out at the former administration during his communication in the House of Assembly on Wednesday. Christie suggested that web shops were allowed to flourish under the last F&M administration.
There is incontrovertible evidence in the annals of the records of the Bahamas government that our predecessor government had oversaw a regime, Mr. Speaker, that issued licenses, accepted business licenses, accepted national insurance payments, knowing that the licenses were being given to web shop operators. There's incontrovertible evidence that they knowingly did that. So there's no need, Mr. Speaker, no need, Mr. Speaker, for crocodile tears.
Lang, who is in Grand Bahama, says that when someone applies to the Ministry of Finance for a business license, the party is only required by law to submit certain information. Unless there's evidence to prove that the applicant is seeking to do something illegal, Lang says the government cannot deny the person a license. Christie also claimed that the F&M government, through the Ministry of Finance, was well advanced in the preparation to legalize web shop gaming. He added that they were also in close consultation with web shop operators. Lang says that he was quite surprised by the Prime Minister's comments. He made it clear that the former government never held a position on the legalization of web shops, adding that they promised to hold a gambling referendum if returned to office. Furthermore, he says the former Prime Minister never reviewed such legislation. And the Free National Movement will tonight vote for a new chairman. Former acting chairman Darren Cash and former Minister Dion Fowkes are the only two in the race. Cash served as acting chairman since the death of former chairman Charles Maynard in August. Fowkes is a former chairman of the party. The F&M is also having a deputy chairman race tonight. Former State Minister Fenton Nemore and former Parliamentary Secretary Brensel Roll are vying for that post. The party elections come as the F&M continues to rebuild since its disappointing defeat at the polls in May and the most recent North Abaco by-election loss. The party elections will take place during a meeting of the F&M Central Council.